Hello everyone, welcome to another one of our fly tying videos for the quarantine period here. So this particular fly that I'm tying is a kind of a take on the original Cripple, and anybody that knows anything about the Cripple, it was designed by a gentleman named Bob Quigley in Northern California, and this is a great pattern because this imitates the Mayfly basically coming out of the shuck before it turns into the dun. So this is a time when the mayflies are super vulnerable on the river, and the trout tend to take full advantage of it. This is kind of a great early season fly. You know, it's kind of a springtime, even into late May, sometimes even early June. We'll fish this fly, and we fish it quite a bit, and it's a super productive fly. It can be tied anywhere from a size 12 to a size 18, and you can change up the colors to match, you know, whatever mayfly pattern or hatch you're trying to match. Size and color is the only thing that's going to change. So this is something you should definitely have in your box, and I highly recommend this is one that you tie and fish. It's a great pattern. Okay, so we're going to start this fly right here behind the eye. You want to use a smaller thread on this. I'd recommend like a 10 or 12. This is a pretty sparse fly, so you don't want too much bulkiness to it. So go ahead and lay down a foundation all the way to the bend of the hook here. I'm going to find some extra small or fine copper wire here. Tie that in good. Come all the way back to the back again. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hold just about 3 to 4 of these pheasant tail fibers here, and we want to kind of try to keep these even, so kind of just get them all nice and even here. If you look at a tail on a mayfly, depending on the particular species, they kind of tend to have a fairly long tail, so you want to leave 3/8 to a ½ inch of a tail. Come underneath your fibers here. We're going to stop about 3/4 of the way up the hook. Go ahead and grab these with some hackle pliers. So we want to make sure we get a good coverage on the body. So whatever way you wrap the fibers, you want to go the opposite direction with the wire. That's going to kind of preserve the fibers, and that'll help your fly hold up. So any time that, you know, a lot of these fly patterns that I tie, you know, some of the people like Bob Quigley that developed this fly, you know, the fly was a great fly when it was developed, you know, but you can always add your own little twist to it to make it, you know, make it do what you want to do and make it, you know, more floatable, which is kind of the deal with this. So we want to wrap this wire forward, and we want to try to stay nice and even on the segments of this wire. We'll take a couple of wraps around the hook and secure this in good. Clip off the extra wire, bend it off. So this fly has this nice little piece of foam, and I'll take and kind of put a nice taper in it. Nice triangle on the tip of it. I kind of don't like anything with square edges. Kind of a personal preference. I don't think the fish are going to care, but so we're going to go all the way back to where we stopped with our pheasant fiber. We're going to go ahead and tie this piece of foam in. So you want to be about, I don't know, 1/2 to 3/4 of the way down the body. So we got it tied in here. So now we're going to kind of jump underneath here, take a couple of wraps. That's going to be secured in there good. So next thing we're going to do is take a little bit of this SLF spiky squirrel dubbing. keep this pretty thin. You're just kind of making the underside of the insect. You don't want this to be too bulky. So go ahead and put that in. You want to make sure you leave just a touch of room. Come back tight here if you can. Get all the way back as far as you can. You want to leave just a little bit of room so you'll be able to whip finish this fly. So we're going to take a second wrap with the foam here. Just kind of, that's going to give us our second segment. So I'll clip this off here, leave it about 1/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go underneath. I'm going to kind of, it's hard to see from that side, but I'm going to basically jump across this back to the original segment, and then when I come forward I'll go the other way. That'll also keep that foam from moving, give you a little bit of extra floatability and stability on that fly, and it'll float and last longer. So next thing is we're going to take a whiting size 12 grizzly hackle feather. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 or 3 wraps with this. Doesn't have to be crazy. Secure it in here good. Save this feather, you're not done with it. So we got that. Now we're going to X across the top, come back to our front segment here. Take just a little tiny bit of natural deer hair. This doesn't have to be, I'd say probably like 1/4 of a pencil width, pretty narrow. Pick all the under guard fur, under fur out of it. Go ahead and stack it. That's going to get everything kind of evened up. So we're going to tie this with a tip forward and the butt of the fiber, the deer hair fiber, to the back. So we want this roughly 3/8 of an inch. You're going to kind of take a couple of good hard wraps there, get it bound in good. So once we do that, we're going to take and we're going to hold all these fibers so they're even. Then we're going to trim it right above that hackle feather. So last step of this fly here, before we finish it, take that feather, strip it back a bit so you can tie it in good. So this fly, compared to the original pattern, has this double hackle feather, which is gonna make it float way better than the original pattern. Also, we have a piece of foam tied in here too. So anytime that I can implement foam into any of my patterns and it doesn't change the dynamic how the fly works, I strongly suggest that. So now we're just going to kind of suck everything back here. Try to get on the eye here. Sometimes it's a little tough, but you just kind of work it in there. You get one wrap started, then you can whip finish this. Four or 5 times on the whip finish, and everything's kind of a little bit messed up, but you just kind of work it out with your hands forward. And I always kind of get everything, make sure everything's good here. I got one really short fiber here. I'll just take and cut that guy out so everything's even. And there you have it, my take on the Quigley Cripple.